Hey guys, welcome to my prep table. I'm your host, Chef Nico, and today's episode is a pan-seared porterhouse steak. And we're gonna finish it off with a little minoir butter. It's a French method where you baste the steak with butter, fresh herbs, and some fresh garlic. So, we have our nice, beautiful porterhouse steak. It's a nice, good 1.5 inch thick. So we'll get a nice medium rare on that. So what you want to do to your steak is hit it with some salt and pepper. So I got some nice Himalayan salt that I found in out in one of my gourmet shopping stores. And we're gonna hit it with some Himalayan salt, and give it a nice coat, of course, because when you guys pan sear the steak, you know, you're going to lose some of the salt and pepper as you pan searing it. You definitely want to get both sides. And because the thickness of steak, remember the salt isn't going to go into the meat. It's just going to be your outer coating. So we're going to give that a nice coating of salt and pepper. And remember, we're pan searing. The terminology to pan searing is getting your pan nice and hot, because what you want to do is kind of burn the outside of the meat. We're going to do both sides and then put it in the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes. What you're doing is trapping all the juices in the center of the meat from the high heat exposure. So we got our pan going for a few minutes. We're going to hit it with about 1/4 cup of olive oil. And you want to put about a teaspoon of butter in there. Now what that does, combining olive oil and butter, your oil will not burn. Okay? So you want to get that nice and hot. You can hear the sizzling going on. We're going to coat the whole pan, and we're going to take our nice big juicy steak and just drop it right in there. Okay? So what you want to do is cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes, depending how hot your pan is. You want to give it a nice sear. You want to get some color on it. And again, you're trapping the juices in the center of the meat when you're doing this searing method. Now we're using a nice deep skillet, because what we're going to do is when we put it inside the oven and we're going to take it out, we're going to add some more butter, some fresh herbs and garlic, and we're going to baste it. So that'll also help you brown the outside of your meat. It's going to give you the herb flavors of your rosemary, your garlic. You're going to get all those flavors interacting inside your pan. It'll be burning inside the butter. You'll be basting your steak, and it'll be finger licking good by the time we're done. So we'll give this about another minute or so. You can hear the juices crackling. We're going to grab our tongs. Okay, what you want to do is just basically take your steak and turn it over to the other side. You can see that you have a nice pan sear. Everything gets golden brown on the top. It's still sizzling. Make sure when you're putting your pan in the oven, you don't have a rubber handle. You have a nice commercial grade pan that just go right into the oven. We'll take our towel and we'll just go right into the oven. Now I like my steak to be medium rare, nice and red on the inside. So we're going to cook that steak. We're putting it in about a 375-degree oven for about 3 to 4 minutes. While that's cooking, we're going to get our garlic. We have our butter. And we got some nice fresh rosemary from the supermarket, because our farms aren't open yet and the greenhouse hasn't been made. So what you want to do to your garlic is just give it a rough chop. Just cut it in half. So this way you could release the oils when they go into the hot butter and the oil. We have our basting spoon. We have our butter. Okay, guys, we're going to give it about 3 to 4 minutes. in the oven, 375 degrees, and we'll be back to show you how to do the basting of your steak. So guys, here we are back. So guys, we took our pan out of the stove. Make sure you got a towel with you for this. So what you want to do is, you can hear it still sizzling. You want to throw your butter, the remainder of your butter in there to get that melted. Okay, we're going to throw our fresh herbs in there. And what you want to do, we did a rough chop on the garlic. Take the heel of your knife and just bang it down to crush the garlic, just to release some of the juices. Let's put half of the garlic in there, because we actually have one more steak in the oven coming out. So now, as the steak is sitting in that beautiful, buttery, oily, you start smelling the herbs coming up. Okay, it's gonna melt down. Your fresh herbs are blending, your garlic smells are coming out. So what you're gonna start doing is take your spoon and you start just throwing it right on top of your steak. So what that's gonna do is, it's gonna, the hotter your pan gets and the hotter the butter gets, it's gonna start browning the top of your porterhouse, and you're incorporating all these beautiful aromatics into the meat. You know, just let that butter get a little hotter. Okay, if you guys were in my kitchen right now, you'd be smelling the rosemary and the garlic, nice intense flavors. So you want to get that butter sizzling and just start basting your steak. Okay, you do this for as long as you're comfortable. If you want a nice brown outside on your steak, depending how much you want to cook your steak, don't forget this will keep cooking your meat. If you're looking for a certain temperature, you don't want to baste it for too long, but you could actually keep doing this for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you can actually cook the steak to a more medium, a more well done, desired, depending on your desires. So we'll let that sit for a minute, and you can see the other side. You'll turn the steak over and get some butter incorporated on the other side as well. All right, guys. So like we said, we like it at a medium rare, so that should be just about done. So what we're going to do is just take the steak, place it on the plate. You get that butter nice and hot, and you can give it a little basting of butter on the top. For your sauce, there is so much flavor going on here. You can give it a little garnish with some fresh rosemary and some of the roasted garlic. Okay, guys, there you have it. A nice pan-seared porterhouse steak, basted in a little herb butter and garlic. Join us on the next episode at my prep table.